In 1926, when Irwin and Henry Chanin built their third theater, they named it after one of the leading actors of the American stage, Richard Mansfield. Now called the Brooks Atkinson, its lavish, modern Spanish design continues to inspire artists like choreographer Sergio Trujillo.
I couldn't believe it when I walked into this theater because I feel like this little theater, it's like a chameleon. And very important in a show because you want the show to fit into that theater no matter what it is. If a character spun, you know, I wanted them to feel like they were coming right at them.
To create the perfect theatrical setting, the Chanins hired Russian decorator Roman Melzer to work with architect Herbert J. Krapp.
The interior of the theater is among the most beautiful in Broadway. The Spanish design ideas are evident on the exterior of the building in the use of twisted columns. And there are some superb murals on the interior, one on the Commedia dell'arte, one on the Muses. They were designed by very obscure immigrant mural painters hired to do theater interiors.
Through the early years, the Brooks had a few notable hits, including Green Pastures and Ana Lucasta, two plays with all black casts. Then, after 10 years as a television studio, in 1960, the theater was reopened and renamed for Brooks Atkinson, a highly respected New York Times theater critic.
Brooks Atkinson's support for the theater had often helped to lift the theater through its difficult times.
With the renaming, the theater came back to life, beginning in 1961 with Neil Simon's first comedy, Come Blow Your Horn. Then, after the Nederlander organization took over the theater in 1974, came the smash hit Same Time Next Year, followed by the popular British farce Noises Off, starring Victor Garber.
People who came to see Noises Off said, and still say, they've never laughed as hard in any play. It's the perfect farce. I think what happens is you become addicted to the sound of laughter. As an actor, I had to be careful as I went on in my career because I would just literally do anything to get a laugh, and that's not always the best option.
In 1992, Glenn Close delivered a searing performance in Death and the Maiden as a South American woman who captures a government agent.
I hear his voice and I am convinced that he's my torturer and end up during the play tying him up and trying to make him confess. Richard Dreyfuss and Gene Hackman, what a great pair they were. Incredibly bright, wonderful, wonderful actors. It was heavy duty. We used to run at intermission up to the costume room, have tea and cookies, and talk about sex and politics until we had to go back down again.
After years of comedy and serious drama, in 1993, a revival of the musical She Loves Me, produced by the Roundabout Theater Company and choreographed by Rob Marshall, came to the Brooks.
She loves me, true she doesn't show it. How could she when she doesn't know it? Yesterday she
I was the assistant choreographer to my brother Rob, and that was fun because the Brooks is this beautiful classic theater, and so to put this kind of classic musical comedy in that theater, it's kind of where it belonged. And then I later returned to the Brooks to do Grease that I directed and choreographed.
The Brooks Atkinson continues to present a fascinating blend of plays and musicals that contribute to the celebrated history of Broadway.
You're walking down the aisle, and you know that George Abbott and Hal Prince and Jerome Robbins and Bob Fosse and Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein and Lerner and Loewe, they've all walked down those same aisles. They've all stood at the back of the theater and watched the show, hoping that the audience was going to like it.
Broadway has presented me with the ability to achieve the American dream. A little kid from Colombia can come all the way to America and achieve success in their own way. In a place like this, like the Brooks Atkinson, I can take an audience on a journey and entertain them and inspire them, because art is speaking to you, is singing to you, and is dancing to you.